Don't forget, if you haven't already, donate what you can to RonPaul2012.com. Also want to say today is Wednesday, April the 25th. So very important that we donate. If you haven't heard the good news, word is on CNN breaking news that Newt Gingrich will be dropping out. And they said that it should be announced next week. But pretty much he's dropped out now. And so that's good. We got one other one out the way. And just like the last race, Ron Paul is the last one to get out the race. You know, this time it looks like he could get the nominee. But last time, a lot of people don't know that he was the last one to drop out. You know, he was right there, second place behind behind McCain. Okay, so also don't forget, Ron Paul is going to be in El Paso tonight at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Memorial Gym, 500 West University Avenue. Also tomorrow at 7 p.m., Ron Paul will be at the Austin LBJ Library Lawn. And at 7 p.m. April 27th, he will be in Houston at the Hoff-Hines Pavilion, 3466 Cullen Boulevard. And again, please don't forget, if you're in Louisiana, the district caucuses are coming up Saturday, April 28th from 8:30 a.m. until 12 noon. Okay, so, yeah, we did have some good news with Newt dropping out. And what was the other thing that I want to jump into here? Had a couple other headlines that we wanted to get into. And, because we got some new hits here with Ron Paul. Now, it looks like the RNC have here an article, RNC Names Romney, the official GOP candidate. So I'm picking this up from New Europe Online just about 20 minutes ago. And okay, so RNC names Romney official GOP candidate. Republicans have settled for Romney as Obama's challenger. Let's see. It says here, Romney officially became the Republican Party nominee for president even before clinching the needed number of pledged delegated for the Tampa convention. Reince Priebus, the chairman of the Republican National Committee, embraced Romney as the party's presumptive nominee on April 25th and said that the party and its resources were from now at the disposal of Romney's campaign. Governor Romney's strong performance and delegate count at this stage of the primary process has made him our party's presumptive nominee. Priebus said and added that he has directed staff at the RNC to open lines of communication with the Romney campaign. So why is this article saying that he's the official GOP candidate if he's not official? It's not. It says here he's the presumptive. He still hasn't got the delegates needed. No mention of Ron Paul, really. They said Ron Paul has 75 delegates here, which is ridiculous. So they basically say that Romney's already commands 764 delegates, putting him so far ahead in the lead that the RNC decided to cut the race short and focus resources on challenging the incumbent U.S. President Barack Obama, which they better be prepared to lose if they're going to use Romney. So they talk about Gingrich dropping out. So, more and more lies. We're going to see this in more and more headlines. Romney's the nominee. Romney's been accepted, even though he doesn't have the delegates needed. Let's ignore Ron Paul some more. Let's forget about how big his rallies are, the rallies that he has, the money he's still getting. So we're used to it. We know what's going to happen. Same as usual. But we got to keep it moving because we are winning. We do have the momentum. Now, let's see here. I want to jump into this other headlines. What do we got going on in the news today? Okay, so I got this headline I came across. Republicans push for Department of Homeland Security takeover of national parks. So, Republicans in the House are pushing to give control of at least 50 national parks within 100 miles of the U.S. border to the Department of Homeland Security. This would allow DHS to suspend any federal law on lands run by the Departments of Agriculture and Interior. A recent article published in the LA Times documents the way most rhino conservatives will be thinking heading into the November elections. And let's see here. Sadly, the fact remains that DHS is not about securing our border and giving them new powers to construct facilities in the name of border security. May be a cover for a more sinister plan involving a martial law takeover and DHS FEMA camps. For their part, the Coalition of National Park Service Retirees has issued a stark warning that calls this DHS takeover plan unprecedented, with the potential to devastate 54 of America's national parks, forests, and historical sites, as well as negatively affect the economy. And not just that, they're probably going to affect nature. They're probably going to affect the land and make it worse. And so, I mean, it's not good any way you look at it. Let's see here. A PR Newswire release from the group outlines their fears. Legislation pending in the U.S. House of Representatives as being falsely touted as improving U.S. border security would instead have the potential to devastate 54 of the national parks, historic sites, national monuments, and other popular park icons and negatively impact the nation's economy. According to a warning issued today by the Coalition of National Park Service Retirees, H.R. 1505, the misentitled National Security and Federal Lands Protection Act would gut a century's worth of proven federal lands protection, potentially opening up millions of pristine acres of national parks to off-road vehicle use, road construction, airstrips, and helipads, fencing, base installations, and other disruptions. Exactly, which is going to affect nature. This radical legislation, introduced by Representative Rob Bishop in Utah, would suspend the enforcement of almost all the nation's environmental laws on all lands under the jurisdiction of the Departments of the Interior and Agriculture within 100 miles of the border. It would change the targeted national park and other federal areas into security zones and leave priceless resources unprotected. Such dramatic changes to the integrity of our national parks and forests would almost certainly damage local economies, which have evolved to depend on the tourism, jobs, and related economic benefits generated by these national assets. So why would families seeking the natural and cultural wonders and transformative outdoor experiences of our national parks choose to visit such border-controlled areas, crisscrossed by new roads, penetrated by noisy all-terrain vehicles, and dominated by tactical infrastructure? Which is exactly true. Why would we want to go visit that? I mean, I got another article coming up how they released the spy sites from the government where they have potential where their drones are taking off, basically. Now they're trying to take over the parks. I mean, the government wants your land if you own land. I mean, they're taking over everything. It's just a straight government takeover. Let's see here. And this is being used as national security, all under the topic of national security. We're doing this to protect you, protect the kids, protect Americans, fighting terrorism. But we have domestic terrorism going on. Let's see here. This, at the same time, DHS gears up for some sort of confrontation with the American people with purchases of up to 700 million 40 caliber hollow point rounds. So it's amazing, man, the things that are going on. The Department of Homeland Security is pretty much out of control. And then, what I was talking about, this other article, where is it at here? Is there a drone in your neighborhood? So, let's see. Let me go to pull that up. I think this is at the LA Times, I want to say. Is there a drone in your neighborhood? Rise of spy planes exposed after FAA is forced to reveal 63 launch sites that are across the U.S. There are at least 63 active drone sites around the U.S. federal authorities have been forced to reveal following a landmark Freedom of Information lawsuit. The unmanned planes, some of which have been designed to kill terror suspects, are being launched from locations in 20 states. Most of the active drones are deployed from military installations, enforcement agencies, and border patrol teams, according to the Federal Aviation Authority. And they have a little Google map here where you can see all of them. Let's see, they got them in California, Washington, Idaho, Colorado, Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, got a bunch of them. Looks like they're all by Ron Paul, too. Arkansas, Mississippi. So, I'll finish this up when we come back from the break. I'm Pac with your host. You're listening to Occupy the Media.
It's the story of a lost city, lost opportunity, lost hope. A story of failed policies, failed leadership. A story of smooth-talking politicians, insider deals, games of he said, she said, rhetoric, and division. One man has stood apart, stood strong, and true. Voting against every tax increase, every unbalanced budget.